Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to take a couple minutes of my channel's time today, and of yours subsequently, to discuss what is the most hilariously obvious decision of all time when it comes to Alliance Raid rewards. I truly believe that this is a classic case of Kabam not thinking through the easiest choice of all time. And we're looking at this through the lens of my friend Ben and the screenshots that he's sent over in what I believe to be a top 50 Alliance Quest account. Now, look, raids are still very new, they're fresh. I've heard the spectrum of responses, and I've done several videos on this. Some people think they're the worst thing ever. Some people think they're the best thing ever. I think most people are unsure still what to think, so they're kind of in a wait, let's see. I do think that raids, even though it came out with a manual that was longer than a War and Peace documentary, this is something that's going to evolve. It's going to, just like incursions or especially battlegrounds, improve with feedback over time, and this is not going away. This is the first version of this, but this is here to stay. And if you think that OG Iron Man happened to just coincidentally be buffed at the same sort of roughly time period that this content was introduced, and he became automatically a beyond god tier option for many people in raids, if you think that that was all just a coincidence, then I have a Ocean View property in Oklahoma to sell you. But I do think that we have quite a bit to talk about regarding this choice, which is the most hilariously obvious choice of all time. So he got this claimable item, this chest, this selector, and when he opened it, this was the two options. It says choose the best option based on your story milestones progression. And you can see there's an Alliance Quest Raid Crystal Shards and a Paragon Alliance Quest Raid Crystal Shards. And look, I don't know why they even give you the option on which one to choose. I worry sometimes that people don't look hard enough, or they accidentally click the wrong item and they then regret it. This is just a hilariously different option. And I think he and most people in his alliance are Valiant, but there is no Valiant Alliance Quest Raid Crystal Shards yet. 7,500 7-star shards is almost 10,000, obviously. It's almost 2/3 of a 7-star. It is half of a 7-star, at least the retail price of 15,000 7-star shards after the first two that you buy in the featured store. And then the Alliance Quest Raid Crystal Shards for 15,000. 6-star shards are so easy to get now. In fact, Kabam Mike, in his justification for the retail price of 7 stars, said, look, 6-star shards now are easier to get than 5-star shards were when they were introduced. And he was right, especially given how many new types of crystals there are that give you at least 5 stars, which of course most people have most 5 stars, and many of them duped, many of them, especially those in-game players, already max sigged up. So 6-star shards are very easy to get. This has to evolve too. I think it should just be for the right progression to 7,500. I don't know why you would actually have to choose. In addition to that, he got two 25% tier 6 class catalyst fragment crystals and one fully formed tier 3 alpha and tier 6 basic, which was amazing like 3 or 4 months ago. But, and I'll go into this more in other videos, but Valiant has just made there such an imbalance of those free crystal rewards versus what we're seeing now that it's almost infuriating how much the economy of the game is stuck. And if you're a Paragon player, what you're getting is just a fraction of what the Valiant players are getting, and there's really no way, unless you explore Necropolis, which is by design, to get to Valiant unless you whaled out during Cyber Week. But of course, those whale out events have come and gone. If you wait for the next chapter of Act 8, the rumor is there will be a 2 to 3 rank up gem in that, maybe. He also got 1 million gold. I did want to blacken the screen here though and just talk about the highs and lows of the information that he sent me from his own analysis. He said, "For me, raids was worth it. I spent no units. But some in my alliance had worse luck and had to spend some. So it may or may not be worth it to them. My rewards were decent overall. The 7-star shards got me to Sig 40 on Captain America Sam Wilson. At least Sigs on him give him more damage, and he's already at rank 2, so better than extra Sigs on a lot of 7-star champs that remain at rank 1. Some made some decisions that didn't turn out, like choosing a non-ideal champ or choosing a non-ideal raid boost, or even one guy who went down the Vanguard lane at the start, and when he brought a tactician attacker, it should be smoother next go now that we've gone through the initial learning curve. Many are ranking up their ideal champ just to make raids easier. Iron Man was an MVP for me on Vanguard. Also, Titania, Hulkling, Kitty Pryde, Storm, and Hulkbuster. Angela, Storm, P90X, and Domino seem decent too. She's a favorite for assault attackers, with being Storm, with the downside that she's got not great for the Ultron boss with him healing back a lot of the energy damage she does. In addition to this, he was given further place 32 rewards, 2100 glory, some tier 6 basic, tier 3 alpha. Still really stuff. I mean, the glory is pretty good, I guess, but still stuff that you would expect to see in like worse content, I feel like. And then he added, because I asked him, I said, how are you going to improve this? How would you improve this? He said, first off, I think Hulkling is the best overall. Class advantage, can gain power most easily. You complete missions on him by alternating special attacks, and just big damage. His Iron Man also did respectably. Keep in mind, though, that one person in his alliance brought a rank 4 6-star Massacre into raids, and that was such a bad decision that it cost about 4,000 units to get through it. The damage over time does not scale well in raids, and so that might be his last experience in raids. And considering that the 60% raid revive is 200 units a pop, if he was buying those, that's a mere 20 revives to spend 4,000 units. Good news is he had the units, but it just still sucks that somebody has to go through that, especially when there's pressure from the group to 100% explore the content, because some people had already sunk in a bit of resources on their own, and there's only room for one backup per battle group in raids. An Alliance Quest focused alliance kind of has to do raids to stay in the higher ranks, but if Kabam doesn't make some improvements, then it's going to certainly cause some attrition to some members of each alliance. And also, he doesn't think there's a go back option like there is one time in each Alliance Quest. An Alliance War, said maybe there's, but he didn't check. Had one guy go down the wrong path. Get rid of link nodes to the Ultron boss would help. We've covered that before. Make him unawakened so that energy damage based champs are not gimped. Either get rid of the requirement to block against Thanos and to punish heavies of Maestro, or get rid of the insane pierce damage that punishes you for blocking. Fix the issue where if the game crashes or you force close, you lose all roll charges on the boss and have to ramp up from scratch, like the same long time issue in Incursions losing Odin and Gallon's pre-fights. Give maybe 3 free revives a day? At least with this mode is essentially still being beta tested. He'd be happy to get them all at the start rather than one day at a time. Alliance Quest was just shortened to 4 days, and we can choose, but now they've forced this to be dragged out over 7 days. Can make coordinating with your team so much less stressful. Buff damage over time. Damage, a lot of the specific champs rely on damage over time for much of their damage and suffer accordingly. Don't lock out your champ from another content like Alliance War or Alliance Quest for a whole week. Less of an issue for him with his roster, but he's seen a lot of complaints about it, and rightfully so. So when it comes to raids, I mean, this is, again, the beta style experience. But these rewards right here, I mean, for 32, just so bad. I can't even believe it. We started this with the most ridiculous decision of all time, but also we ended with some improvement suggestions. So I kind of like videos where, you don't just identify an issue, but you come up with some suggestions. That's kind of how I prefer to run things on this channel, at least. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.